Okay, good morning. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome today for English Maritime course. So, this will be I'm your instructor, Elaine. So, today we will be having a recap regarding our topic or the last discussion last time and also some trivia quizzes. So, today, as I said earlier, we have some like a review or recap on what we discussed. So it's still about some vocabulary regarding the engine room. So will be the topic. So it's about some vocabulary that we discussed regarding the machinery and system, those engine room personnel and their roles or their tasks, the procedures and operations, and also some safety and emergency vocabulary. To have some summary of what we discussed, this is all about expanding the vocabulary related to engine room operations that very important for effective communication and safety in maritime. So this involves understanding some terms related to machinery, systems, procedures, and personnel within the engine department. So a strong vocabulary that ensures a clear instructions, accurate reportings, and efficient troubleshooting. So here um I will be discuss some primary vocabulary and their definitions of what we discussed last time. So first that we have is the machinery and system. So we have here the main engine. So the main engine, this is the primary source of power of the ship's propulsions. So this is the core component responsible for generating the power needed to move the vessel through the water. So the main engine is critical for the ship's operations and various safety measures and protections area in place to prevent the damage and ensure the reliable performance. So next that we have is what we call the auxiliary engine. So this one, it it provides power for onboard system like electricity and air conditioning. So the auxiliary engine, this is the secondary engine used to provide a power for functions other than the primary propulsions of the machine. So this time, the auxiliary engine are typically smaller than the main propulsion engine. and used to um, power some various onboard systems and equipments. So next is what we call the boiler. So this is generates steam for various purposes, including powering turbines or heating. So this is a closed vessel in which fluid is heated. So the fluid does not necessarily boil. So the heated or vaporized fluid exits the boiler for use in various process or heating applications. So this time it includes the water heating, central heating, or boiler-based power generations. Next is what we call the turbocharger. So this one, it is used to increase the engine power by compressing the intake air. So the turbocharger um, consists of a compressor wheel and exhaust gas turbines coupled together by a solid shaft and used to boost the intake air's pressure. So next vocabulary that we have is what we call the propeller. So the propeller, it converts the engine power into thrust to propel the ships. So this is a rotating device with blades that converts the engine power into thrust to propel the vessel through the water. So the propeller, this is very important for the ship's speed, maneuverability, and overall performance on the water. So another word is the shaft generator. So it says here this is to generate some electricity using the rotation of the propeller shaft. So this is primarily used in maritime application as an alternator or the AC generator driven by the ship's main engine's propeller shaft. So it converts the rotational energy of the shaft into electrical energy that's supplying the power to the ship's electrical network. So the function of this are integrated into the gearbox between the main engine and the propeller shaft. So when the main engine is running at a suitable speed, the shaft generator can be engaged into produce electricity. So next that we have is the build system. So this one, it removes the excess water from the ship's hull. So this is the network of piping and pumps used to remove the water that accumulates in the lowest part of the ship, which is the bilge, due to the leaks, condensations, or other sources. So this water, known as the bilge water, can contain contaminants like oil, grease, and other pollutants. So be- this water, it can make the proper management very important for both safety and environmental protections. So next is the fuel system. So the fuel system, it stores, filters, and delivers fuel to the engines. So the fuel system in maritime, it delivers the fuel from the storage to an engine, ensuring it's clean, pressurized, and of the correct versatility for combustions. So it includes the fuel tanks, pumps, filters, heaters, and other various piping and control systems. So next, word that we have is what we call the lubrication system. So this is to provide oil to lubricate moving engine parts. So this one is just simply reducing the friction and wear between moving parts of the engine, ensuring it's still in the optimal performance and longevity. So this system, it employ a different lubrication methods and are designed to handle various engine components. So it includes the main engine or the turbochargers and the cylinders. So again, we have to remember the importance of the proper lubrication because it minimizes the friction and wear between the moving parts and reduces the maintenance cost. It also removes some debris and impurities just to prevent the damage to engine components. And in this system also, it acts as a cooling medium, preventing the overheating and extending components' lifespan. So here again, another system is what we call the cooling system. So this one, it maintains the engine temperature by circulating coolants. So this is very important for maintaining the optimal engine temperatures and preventing the overheats of the ship. So it's typically involved for both fresh waters and seawater system. So why this cooling system is very important? So we have here, of course, first for engine protection. As I said, it cooling system prevent the overheating, ensuring a reliable engine operations. Another reason is for the corrosions control. So the central cooling systems, it help reduce the corrosions by minimizing the seawater contact and engine components. Another one is for the energy efficiency. So the cooling system, it contributes the overall energy efficiency. Okay? So next, we have here is what we call the piping system. So the piping system, it transports fluids like fuel, water, and steam throughout the engine room. So these are the essential network of pipes, valves, and fitting that transport various fluids, like I said, the water or the fuel, through the ships. So these systems are very important also for the operations of a vessel that ensures the reliable flow of fluids for tasks such as the cooling, the heating, cleaning, and lubrications of the machinery. So the piping systems are very important for overall functionality and safety of the ship. Why? Because failure of a piping system can lead to flooding, fire, pollutions, or even the loss of the vessel. So the proper design, installation, and maintenance are very important to ensure a reliability and longevity of this system. Okay. So next is the what we call the electrical system. So the electrical, it provides the power for various onboard system and equipment. So it's just very complex network. that generates and contributes and utilize the electrical power on the vessel. So, meaning that this is also important by powering some various onboard systems, including the propulsion, navigations, and life support. So, these systems um, differ from those on the land due to the need of the autonomy and the unique values of mentality, uh, environmental conditions at the sea. So, in maritime, electrical systems is also a sophisticated network design just to provide a reliable power for all onboard operations with the unique considerations for the um, environmental, marine environment. So another system that we have is what we call the control system. So this is to regulate and monitor the engine operations. So marine control system, it compasses a wide range of technologies that automate and optimize some various ships operations. So this time it enhancing also the safety and efficiency and also well the performance. So these systems, it integrate some various functions. So from navigations and propulsions to cargo handling and safety, offering a real-time monitoring and control capabilities. Okay, another word or vocabulary that we have here under the machinery and system is what we call the steering gear. So the steering gear, it controls the ships, rather for navigations. So this is a very important components for navigations and safety. So it translating the commands from the bridge into the physical movement of the rudder. So here we also have some different types of steering gear. First, we have the hydraulic system gear that hydraulic pumps or uses the hydraulic pumps and actuators to control the rudder. We also have another type what we call some electro-hydraulic steering gear. This is the combination of a electrical and hydraulic power for control. We also have the electronic steering gear. So this type, it uses some electronic control system for advanced automations. And another one, the last type of the steering gear is what we call the ram type and rotary vane type. So this is the common types of the steering gear mechanism. Okay? So that will be the part of our machinery and system. Next, we move to under the engine room personnels and roles. So first, we have here what we call the chief engineer. So this is the head of the engine department. So this is, she's the one, he or she is the one responsible for all engine room operations. So meaning this one is the most senior licensed engineer in the engine department of the ship. So it's just a similar in rank to the ship's captain. So they are responsible for the safe and efficient operations. So the chief engineer, it reports directly to the ship's captain and is in charge of the entire engine room crew. So next is another personnel that we have is the second engineer. So the second engineer, it assists the chief engineer and is in charge of a specific system. So the second engineer in maritime industry is also known as the first assistant engineer. So they are the one responsible. Responsibilities encompasses a wide range of duties. So from personal training and maintenance to the operations and upkeep of mechanical and electrical system. So in lieu with this, the second engineer is highly skilled and versatile professional who is crucial to the smooth and safe operation of the merchant vessel. So here we have here another one, another personnel that we have is what we call the watch keeping engineer. So this is the engineers on duty. So during designated shifts, maintaining the watch over machinery. So again, the watch keeping engineer. So they are the one responsible for the safe and efficient operation and maintenance of the ship's machinery and equipment. So particularly during their assigned watch period. So the watchkeeping engineer that plays a vital role in the safe and efficient operations of the ships. It ensures that the machinery is monitored. maintained, and ready to respond to any situations. So next word that we have, or another personal that we have, is what we call the motorman. So this one, it assists the engineers with maintenance and operations of machinery. So they are the one also responsible for the maintenance, operations, and repair of the ship's engines or other associated machinery. So the motorman, particularly in the engine room, watches both at the sea and in port, ensuring that the smooth operations of the machinery. So next is what we have is of course the electrician. So the electricians, they are the one responsible for electrical equipment and systems. So they are the one specialized electrician that works on the electrical system. So they are responsible for installing, maintaining, and repairing some electrical components and systems, ensuring of the safe and efficient operation of the electrical equipment on board. So the last personnel that we have here is what we call the storekeeper. So the storekeeper, they are the one manage the engine rooms, stores and supplies. So they are the one responsible in managing and maintaining all the supplies and equipment on the vessels or in maritime facility. So, meaning this is includes of receiving, storing, and issuing, even the tracking inventory or other related record keeping duties. Okay. Next, we will go to the procedures and operations. So we have here what we call the engine room logbook. So this one it's just it is the record of engine operations, maintenance, and incidents. So this is a very important document where the engineering team records all aspects of the ship's machineries, operations, performance, and maintenance of any or other any also malfunctions of the machines. So it just serves as a legal record or a reference for future operations. So next that we have is what we call the watch keeping. So again, this is the monitoring and maintaining the machinery during the designated shifts. So the watch keeping in maritime, it refers to the system of assigning qualified personnel to a specific role of the ship to ensure its continuous operations, safety, and efficient management. So next is what we call the routine maintenance. So this is the regular checks and reserving of the machinery. So this one it involves the regularly scheduled task to keep the vessels and their equipment in good working order, preventing of a breakdowns and ensuring the safety. So basically, it includes the basic checks, lubrication, and monitors, or I'm some minor repairs, and often performed daily. Sometimes there's also weekly and monthly. So next is what we call the troubleshooting. So this is identifying and resolving some issues regarding the machinery. So this one is just identifying or diagnosing and resolving some problems with the shipboard system, equipment, and networks. So another word that we have is what we call the overhaul. So this is the complete disassembly, inspections, and repair of the machinery. So again, the overhaul. So it refers to the thorough and systematic process of inspecting, repairing, and replacing components of the ship's engine or other critical systems to restore them to the optimal operating conditions. Another word that we have here is what we call the starting and stopping. So this is the procedures of bringing engines online and offline. So this one, it refers to the procedures for initiating and ceasing the operations of the ship's main engine and other auxiliary machinery. So this is about from the starting a marine uh, engine from preparation to ready to start and until from the stopping the machinery. So again, um, emergency procedures. So this is the protocols for handling emergencies like fires or equipment failures. So this is raising some general alarms or initiating, mastering, and deploying emergency equipment like lifeboats or life crafts. So another word that we have is about the documentations. So this one, it's simply the recording and important of the engine room activities and incident. So now we have here is the regarding the safety and emergency vocabulary. So I have here first the PPE, or what we call the personal protective equipment. So this one it used for the, of course, the safety gear like the gloves or helmet and the suit. So, so this one it refers to the specialized gear worn by the seafarers to protect them from workplace hazards and reduce the risk of injury. So the PPE, it simply signifies or minimize like the likelihood of the injuries, like the common hazards like falling, or I mean falling objects, chemicals, and the machinery. So we use this, or they're using this PPE, of course, for their safety. So providing a barrier against the potential harm. So the PPE, it enables the seafarers to perform their task safely and confidently. So to recap again, um, we have some different types of, or I mean, examples of PPE that we use. Like for some, there's a specific one for the head protection, foot protections, of course, the hand, the eye and face, like the goggles or the face shields. They're using also some earplugs for the hearing protection, mask for their respiratory protections, and other some overalls, the coveralls, the suit that they're wearing. So they are waterproof clothing and flame resistant clothing just to protect them against some from the various environmental and fire hazards. So next vocabulary that we have here is what we call the fire extinguisher. So this is the device to put out some small fires. But we have some different classes. If you will still remember, we have some different types or class for the fire and extinguisher user. So we have class A. It involves like ordinary combustibles like the wood, paper, or cloth. So they're using the water, foam, or dry powder and wet chemicals for extinguishers. We also have what we call the class B. So this includes the flammable fluid such as the gasoline, oil, or grease. So this time they're going to use the CO2 extinguishers. We have another type of fire like the class C. This one it involves some flammable gases. So dry powder extinguishers are going to be used. We have another type, what we call the class D. So this one, it involves some flammable metals. Another class is what we call the class F or K. So it involves some cooking oils and fats. So wet chemicals, extinguishers are specifically designed for these fires. So in marine fire extinguishers, they requires in the vessel regulations specify the number and types of extinguisher based on the vessel length. Okay? So for example, the boat is under 26 feet, so they may need one of the 5B extinguisher, while larger vessel is more required. Okay? Another vocabulary that we have is what we call the E-stop or the emergency stop. So this one, it is the button to shut down the machinery immediately. So for the safety mechanism, they use to rapidly shut down a machinery or equipment, particularly winches in emergency situations. So this one is to quickly and safely stop hazardous movements and processes during an emergency. Another vocabulary that we have is the alarm system. So the alarm system, it just alerts for the high temperature, pressure, and more. So this one is very important for alerting the crews or the crew member to various hazard situations and ensuring the timely response. So this system is just encompasses a range of alarms. So from general emergency alarms to specific alerts for situations like fire, uh, man, man overboard, or security threats. So another word that we have here is what we call the escape route or the escape route. So the escape route, this is the safe exit path in case of fire or flooding. So meaning this is the or it refers to the designated and clearly marked path on the vessel designed for the safe and efficient evacuation during the emergency. So this is the route for crucial for ensuring that the safety of the crew or the passengers in situations like fires, flooding, and other hazardous conditions. So, in the engine room, the escape route for engine rooms often involves vertical trunking leading to the open deck or a separate door to a steering flat. So, why this escape route is very important? As I told you earlier, of course, for the safety. So, this the escape route are very vital for the safe evacuation of the crew during the emergencies. So also they have to be they are the key part of the ship's emergency preparedness plan. So the escape route are mandated by the international regulation like the SOLAS or what we call the safety of life at the sea. So because it helps to protect the crew and the equipment from harm during the critical situations. So that's it for today. We already have some recap on our discussion. So by our next meeting, I will be prepare some like uh like a trivia quizzes regarding our topic for today. So I hope you learned something for today. So again, this is your instructor Elaine for your English Maritime course.